Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So today we're going to look at what I consider to be the winner of the loveliest foliage plant, certainly that I have in my greenhouse, and I've got quite a few foliage plants. I like to think of it in terms of a forest. We all love our blooms, but where would we be without the backdrops? And in this case, this plant has really taken my eye. And it's bizarre really, because it was a plant that I just picked up for about £3 or £4 about 6 months ago and didn't think much of it, and the way it's developed I've been really surprised. Beautiful foliage plant. So we're going to dive straight in and have a look at it and talk about some of its care needs and see if you also agree with me that it's certainly in line for the winner of the loveliest foliage plant that could be used either in the greenhouse or in a house as a house plant. So let's jump in. And we are in. So I've got so many foliage plants, and you might be thinking which one is the one that I've chosen. Well, this one over here is Begonia Curly Fireflush, and it really is a contender, but it's not the one. Now I'll just show you what's so good about Begonia Curly Fireflush. I mean, look at that. You can see why they've got the name fire into there somewhere, and you can see the curl as well around there. And I have ferns, and I have, this is another begonia, would you believe it? So this one is Begonia luxurians, and it's really going tall now, which I really like. This is another begonia over here. So this one is Fuchsioides, and they're not all begonias. So if we just kind of quickly pan around here, this one is really going for it now again. This one is Tradescantia fluminensis Nanook lilac, and you get these gorgeous, well, lilac, I guess. I would say pink, but I'm not very good with colours. I suppose it's lilac. Lilac undersize of the leaves, and the new growths tend to come out that nice shading. But no, that's not the one. Could it be my Tradescantia tricolour minima with all its varying colours on there? We've got the green, we've got the pinks, we've got the creams, we've got the variegated leaves, we've got the non-variegated leaves. No, that's not the one either. Could it be my Zebrina? Another Tradescantia, another wandering Jew with its silvery stripes there, zebra stripes. No, that's not it. So what I've chosen to be my loveliest foliage plant, I've got some more begonias down here, but just take a look at this one. So this one, I think, is the one that is definitely a contender for the gorgeousest, which isn't a real word, I know, the loveliest foliage plant, the most gorgeous foliage plant that I've come across in a long time. And I just want to point out the various plus points that this plant has, and then I'll tell you what it is. So first off, we've got like these velvety leaves, and I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but you can, it really is like a, well, the only way to describe it is velvet. It makes you want to touch it like it's velvet. You can just see maybe on that one like a sheen of velvet on the surface of the leaf. You can see these, they're almost like eyelashes, which is a little bit of a clue on the edges all around each leaf. You can see that the different ages of the leaves also give different patterns and shades and sizes and shapes, and we've got different colours and hues. And if you look underneath, which is also another bonus, you get this kind of a, I guess it's like a wine red, and the green showing through there like lighting. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I really don't recall seeing one that's kind of taken my fancy quite as good as this one. And it was literally $3.99, a little tiny pot, and I got it from a garden centre, so quite a well known one actually in the UK, called Hayes Garden World over in Cumbria there, up in the Lake District. And this is actually, for those of you who might not know, it is another begonia. You might just be able to see through the label there. This is Begonia Bowerae. That's what it was labelled as. And just by a little bit of research on it, I've managed to discover that this one is Tiger Paw. Sometimes it's just labelled as Begonia Bowerae, sometimes it's labelled as Begonia Bowerae Tiger, and sometimes it's Tiger Paw or Tiger's Paw. And I guess it's those kind of paw prints that you can see on there. It's also known as the eyelash begonia because quite clearly of those hairs which very, very much resemble eyelashes. It's just a beautiful plant, and it kind of sat on the bench when it was very, very small, and I didn't pay it much attention, and it's almost screaming at me now to get some attention to it. And I just had to make a video on it to show what a fantastic plant this could be, and it makes a great house plant as well. So what I'm going to do with it, I'm just going to plonk it down somewhere. I'll place it down. It's not quite as nice here because it's not got the light on it. Get the light on it, and it really, really is a stunning plant. And I'm just going to talk through one or two of its kernels. At least you don't get the shaking of me holding on to it. So I'll be as brief as I can. So this, I think, is a species plant because I believe it's been used quite a lot in hybridizing with other begonias. It comes pretty much from mostly Mexico, but that kind of area, that tropical area. It's a rhizomatous begonia, so there is a creeping rhizome under there, so it does tend to get used in those areas of the world that don't get frost as either like an outdoor hanging basket or outdoor pot plant, but also as a ground cover plant. Those characteristics of it make it really good as a house plant because it grows quite strongly. It's not known to be a difficult begonia. I guess it wouldn't be used in hybridizing so much if it wasn't. Apparently begonias were once used to polish swords. I don't know how true that is. That was some bit of information that I came across, so maybe somebody can chip in there, let me know if that's true or not. So we've had a look at the various characteristics of it, both the underside of the leaves and the top of the leaves, and the various shades and colours that you get on top of these leaves. We've said already it won't go below freezing, but it does go quite low. I've read of people getting it almost to frost level, so whether your particular microclimate, I guess, that you've got yours in is or has all the other characteristics of a climate that it needs, because it does like high humidity, and I believe that if it is in drier, and this could be a problem with the house plant, then you can fix that more or less just by sticking it on some kind of a tray with pebbles and a little bit of water underneath. Obviously it shouldn't be sitting in the water, it should be raised above the water. Do not spray it because it doesn't like to have water sitting on those leaves. That's one of the issues that it can get, that it can get like fungus on the leaves quite easy. It's also prone to powdery mildew, which is a similar kind of thing. So yeah, it likes humidity in the growing season quite high, but over winter obviously that can be quite a bit lower. In terms of watering, wait until it goes dry before you water it. These thick fleshy leaves can take in quite a lot of water, and that means that over the winter time they don't really need watering that much. So wait till it dries out before you water it. Grows up to about 25-30 centimeters tall and wide. That's the kind of general information, but obviously it has a creeping rhizome, so if you give it the ability to be able to move around or give it the option, then it will start to spread. The pot that it's in, you don't really want a deep pot. Even though it's a rhizome, it's quite a shallow one, so it can go in quite shallow pots. The potting media, nothing special, just a general purpose, kind of an organic peat-based potting media will do. You don't want it in the sunshine. I've got it over here with some of my other begonias here. I've got one or two begonias where you can spot them amongst the streptocarpuses. They mostly, as a genus, begonias don't really like to be in the sun. There may be one or two exceptions there because it is a very, very big genus. So I've got it in a roughly, well, it's quite a shady spot, but I do have grow lights as well, so it does get the bright light. It's just not in that direct sunlight which would burn those leaves. Very easy to propagate. You can do from leaf cuttings, you can cut the rhizome, I believe you can layer it as well. So once you've got one, you can have as many as you want, and I really, really like this. It's, to me, this kind of rivals Tradescantia as an interesting foliage plant. In terms of fertilising, again, nothing too complicated, just a general purpose fertiliser, 3 weeks to a month over the growing season, and leave it alone during the off season. So what I tend to do is stick one of those fertilisation sticks in, or fertiliser sticks in, so I don't have to think about it for most of the season. So one at the beginning and one part way through the season. So that is Begonia Bowerae, and just before I sign off with this, let's just put it up in the light again and have another look at those superb leaves and colours. I'm hoping you're getting what I'm getting in real life here, because if half of that comes through, and I can't really imagine another one that's nicer. I might be wrong. Do you have a foliage plant that has more kind of diverse patterns and colours and textures and more interest than that? And look at that, that is stunning to my eye. That is absolutely gorgeous, and I believe it does bloom as well. Again, this is a very subjective thing. To my mind, most begonia blooms are not really anything to get excited about. Over there in the corner I have a begonia griffon, you can just see it there, nice big interestingly patterned leaves, and that bloomed and I cut them off because I just didn't like them. Whereas this one, from the pictures that I've seen, I think I may well keep them. They're like a soft pink, they do look quite nice to my eye anyway. So what do you think? Is this the loveliest foliage plant there is? And I'm only talking about tropical plants here. I'm not talking about temperate plants at all, just tropicals. That's what I'm focusing on at the moment. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you have one that's nicer? Do you have something that's better than that? I'd love to hear from you. And just before I sign off, I'd just like to thank everybody for subscribing, because I've just hit over 1,000. I think I'm at about 1,015, something like that at the moment. And it's really satisfying to get to that mark. And I will be doing a giveaway video at some point. I'm working on it, let's just say, so that will be coming along soon. So I hope you enjoyed this pretty short video for me anyway, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.